Hello boys and girls, today I'll show you all how I made Bennett from Genshin Impact. So I subdivided a cube to make it a sphere and go to sculpt mode to shape the head. No need to dig into details, we just need a basic shape instead. Add a cylinder for the ear. It's important to place it there early on as it helps on checking the proportion. As you can see, I'm just blocking the head with basic shapes. Nothing complex happening here. Yet. Then I'll remesh it first before I start sculpting so that I have enough geometry to sculpt on. Then I'll start sculpting the head planes. Here, I only use the draw, crease, scrape, and grab brush. So here remember is the widest part of the head, so I'll just inflate it. I mask this area and pull the nose from here. Then I use clay strips to know where I should put the eyes. Then I sharpen the planes from time to time so I don't get lost. I draw the eye shape and use a sphere for the eyeballs. Then carve this in to make the eyeballs appear. I know this looks messy compared to other methods, but hey, this works for me. I'll open his mouth later, but for now, I just draw a line to make it neutral. Now I have the basic plane set. I can puff his cheeks like this or whatever, depends on the character of course. And I detail the ears. Remember that everything I do, I always have my reference on my other monitor. To complete the look, I give him eyelashes. I start with a single vert and extrude while snapping to face. Then add thickness. Then do the same for the eyebrows. To get a better picture how our sculpt will look like, I model the eyes by making the iris concave and form the pupil as well. Then I make a cube as my proportional guide. For this character, I'm following a teenage proportion which is 7 heads tall. I usually use an extruded single vert with a skin modifier for the body, but today I thought I should try blocking it out instead using basic shapes. Just make everything simple. That's the whole point anyway. Normally, I wouldn't block every muscles, but here I am already doing this and maybe less sculpting later. Here's the traps, the lats. I'm not really the biggest fan of this method because I like sculpting more. Though this is good if you want to be familiarized with the muscles and be able to simplify them. Here's the sternocleidomastoid and the clavicle, the obliques, abs, and just giving the lats a little detail. Here I'm blocking out the hand. Then a finger which you can duplicate for the other fingers. I always like to make the hand relaxed. Sometimes it looks weird if it isn't. Then place it there where it should be. Then I join them all together except the hands. Then remesh, smooth, and sculpt. It's important to have a reference. We don't need an ultra-realistic sculpt, but rather a believable one. I know this will all be covered, but I'm having fun sculpting, so yeah. Then just sculpt the hands. Next is I retopologize the body. I start with the fingers because I'm very particular with the hands topology. I can just duplicate this for the other fingers like so, then build the knuckles. It also helps to lessen the vertices. I'm not moving the torso that much, so I don't worry about its topology. I just need to make this low res for the rigging. Then I'm selecting these to make face sets so I can isolate these later when I'm sculpting, especially the fingers. For some reason, I can't mirror select and it messes my topology when I try to symmetrize, so I had to select both sides manually to isolate and make face sets. Here, I'm masking the mouth and push this in to open it. Just keep remeshing and smoothing when sculpting. I'm just modeling the teeth as a whole and duplicate it for the upper teeth as well. Would be weird without a tongue, so give him a tongue. He has a snaggle tooth, so I just extruded some part of the teeth. Add a meta rig and you'll see how big the character is. You can do this right from the start to know your scale, but I like to start big because I'm following the grids for my proportion, then I just scale it down afterwards. Then apply all transforms. Some parts may look funky, especially when you have solidify modifier, but you can always fix it. Then I adjust the bones to match my character. For me, the fingers can take time to adjust because I always have to check the axis so there won't be any problem bending them. Then I generate the rig and I start posing the character. Posing it isn't always perfect, especially the deformations, so I still have to sculpt some parts later. Then I do the clothing. I didn't like the body's topology for the top that I'll be making, so I chose to start with a single vert and make the top from there. Then add thickness and smooth. This one I just duplicated it from the top because it also follows the topology that I want. We can also duplicate edges and extrude from there, which I'm doing for the color. These are the benefits for having a good retopo, that we don't have to start everything from scratch, except for the top a while ago. Basically, everything here is repetitive, that I would always start with a single vert, then extrude to form something. Here, I'm modeling this thing. It's symmetrical, so I'm using a mirror modifier. I don't know if this is a pin or what, but it sure is sharp and dangerous, especially if you're putting it here. Then the straps from a single vert again, and duplicate for the other straps. You know you can start with a plane instead of a single vert, but this can be fun, so yeah. Then I duplicate the faces and separate. I add more loops, then extrude these things. Duplicate and add thickness. Then duplicate again for the borders and polish it a bit. I duplicate the faces on the body to make these. And also for the belt. I bevel the edges and Alt S to push it in to make the seams. I add a star and increase the points and just throw in some basic shapes. I just smooth and Shift E the edges that I want to be sharp. I didn't rig the clothes because there wasn't much deformation anyway, and weight painting it may took forever. So I just joined them all and used a grab brush to move it. Then I sculpt the body with its new pose. It's important to know where the muscles should be and how they deform, so always have a reference. Here, I'm isolating the fingers using the facets that I made earlier. It'll be a nightmare to sculpt them without facets. And again, I'm duplicating faces for the other stuff, which is really repetitive and can be tiring sometimes. I guess making clothes and accessories is not my favorite part in character modeling. Instead, I like sculpting heads and anatomy. Anyway, comment down your favorite part in creating characters. Is it sculpting, modeling the clothes, the hair, whatever? It'll also be awesome and easier to extract these from the sculpt and use quadrimesher to retopo it. I do have a quadrimesher, but I know most people don't, and I want to show that you can still do these things. Sure, the tools and add-ons will help save a lot of time, but if you're broke, it's not an excuse not to achieve things. And back in my day, we made characters using box modeling. Good thing that we can sculpt now, and I never returned to box modeling characters again. But it's good in creating a base mesh. So let me know if you guys want a tutorial on that. Then extrude to make these. I didn't make this earlier because this is really asymmetrical and doesn't fully attach to the body unlike the belts. I create a V shape from a single vertigen, then extrude. I didn't bother detailing this one. At this point, I just wanted to call this done and just model whatever's on the camera. Unlike clothes, I pretty much enjoy doing the hair. I use the NURBS path and put the hair one by one. But as much as I enjoy this, I didn't bother making the hair at the back anymore. So you'll see a big bald spot at the back of his head. And I remember that I still have to do the goggles. But this is just a quick modeling job using cylinders while working with a mirror modifier. It pretty much has a simple design based on the reference, so it's okay. Then here, I don't know what happened to his nose, or maybe just some fashion trend or what, but it looks cool to be honest. Apparently, scars can get puffy when your body is producing too much collagen to heal the wound. So the modeling's done and time to give them some colors. I like to use the Sculpt Mode's paint tool because I didn't have to UV unwrap and texturing is laggy on me real time. For the skin, I always make a map for the roughness and the subsurface radius. Comment down below if you want me to show how I make my skin shader. And we're finally done. If you like this, give it a like, subscribe, and comment what you want to see next. Bye!